So in this video, we're going to be going over how we can create functions in C++ and what they do and how they can simplify our life. And to get started, we will go ahead and create our first function. So to do this, we have to start by typing in void, which means it doesn't return anything. Later on, I'll show you what happens if we type int or string instead, such as we have over here for the main function. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and write void, and then we need to give it a function name. So for this example, I will type do something, and you can change that with something such as turn on engine or connect to internet or anything that is descriptive towards what your function does. And functions are used to minimize rewriting code, because the point of programming, or at least object-oriented programming, is to write as little code as possible and maximize the reusability. So if we had to print something, we wouldn't want to write the entire print statement over and over each time we did it. We would want to simplify this process by creating a function that does the same thing each time we need to use it. So for example, inside here, we're going to go ahead and type in cout, and we're going to write I did something with an exclamation mark. And then we're going to add an end line. Now we don't have to copy and paste this each time we want to print this statement. All we have to do is go ahead and refer to this function and just duplicate that if we want to do it multiple times. Now if we go ahead and run the program, you're going to notice we'll have this printed 3 times, and we only had to write this statement once, so that we could reutilize it more than once. Now I'm also going to introduce to you guys the concept of a global variable. So for this example, we're going to create an int called c, and it's going to be initialized with the value of 0. This time you're going to note that it was declared outside of the main function, which essentially just means we can use it anywhere we want, because we want to use it in the function so that every time we increment it, it will update this value. If we declare it inside here, things can be a bit more difficult because we want to use it in the function we have declared above. So inside here, we're going to type in C++, and we're also going to add 2 left arrows here and add the C here. Now every time we call this function, C is going to increment by 1 and is going to update accordingly in our main function. So if we rerun the program, you're going to notice now it will say I did something 1, I did something 2, I did something 3. Because each time we call the function, it updates our global variable, which is out here, and prints it out accordingly. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind that's very important is that when you declare a function, it has to be in order, because C++ reads the program in order from top to bottom, which means if you were to place this down here instead, the program wouldn't be able to recognize it because you decided to use something that didn't exist yet, and then you gave the definition down below. So that's why you'd have to declare it above. But there is a workaround for this, because sometimes it's cleaner to have the code written down below. And to create a workaround, you would just have to type in void and of course the function name. So we'll type in do something, and this time it will be do something 2, and then add the semicolon here. So as you can see, we didn't provide any body yet, but now we can go and successfully use do something 2 before we've provided the definition for the function. But this also means that we have to go ahead and create that function before we use it, otherwise we'll just call nothing. So below main, I'm just going to copy do something and add a 2 here. So now we've declared the function do something 2 below main, and we can actually take away the previous one and take this one away as well and duplicate this twice. So as you can see, in a way this looks a bit more clean because we have the declaration right here and we have the logic below the main function, which will make keeping our global variables a bit more clean. And if we rerun the program, we will have the exact same result. And of course, you can add as much code as you want in here. The goal is to make this as reusable as possible, so you don't have to create an engine or a wheel multiple times for a single car. You can just create one engine and use that engine multiple times, so to speak. But that should cover the very basics of functions. In the next few videos, I'm going to go a bit more in depth about what else we can do with functions and how we can add parameters and what those are. But with that being said, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to look at them. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video.